welcome. This is my first YouTube video. I'm super excited. As you guys can see from my title, I'm super pumped and I'm ready to just get into the topic already. But we're gonna discuss today how I used the law of attraction and manifestation techniques to heal myself of an illness that I had all of 2020. Crazy stuff. So let's just dive right on in right now, and I'm gonna take you guys from the beginning. So the end of November 2019, I got severely sick, you guys, just crazy, bizarre, randomly one day. Literally, I'm driving, and when I say random, I mean randomly got sick. I was driving, I was running errands, and all of a sudden my tongue and my face started to go numb, and my hands started to go numb, and I started to get this rapid heart rate as if I was gonna have a heart attack or I was having a stroke. And I know what you guys are thinking, how would you know how that feels if you've never had that? But instinctively, I believe that's what I thought that's what was happening to me. So I instantaneously pulled over to the side of the road. I obviously knew something was wrong with me, so I pulled over and I pulled into a restaurant, and it just so happened that as I got out of my car, two guys were coming out of the restaurant. I fainted and I actually woke up in the hospital. So that was actually the beginning of my illness journey, and it, like I said, it started randomly one day, November 2019, super random. So doctors could not figure out what was wrong with me. They chalked it up to a few things, sent me home with some medication, wiped their hands, and sent me on my way, which most doctors do. Mind you, I'd never been sick in my life before. I'd never taken medication. I would consider myself a pretty holistic, naturopathic person. So the thought of taking medication was just really, really scary. And just the fact that they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me really just kind of mind boggled me. But nonetheless, that was the beginning of my journey of just being severely ill. I was literally in and out of the hospital, you guys, from the end of November all the way up until June of 2020. So there was a huge gap of time that I was undiagnosed and just severely sick. I went from having a normal life, doing all the things that I love, exercising, spending time with my daughter. I have a 3-year-old at the time, and just doing all the things that I loved. And all of a sudden, I couldn't do any of the things that I was used to doing. And I literally felt like my whole life was taken away from me. I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, why it was happening to me. And in those moments of feeling super, super down, I realized that this is how people feel when they suddenly get cancer or they suddenly get very ill and their life is just literally taken from them. And that's exactly how I felt. And I knew that there was a point in time where there was no way for me to stay that way, because the life that I had always dreamed of and the life that I had envisioned for myself didn't include me being bedbound and being stuck at home and having my family having to take care of me. So how I actually used the law of attraction and manifestation to actually heal myself started one day. It was right after a really bad situation that had also coincided with my being sick. I was in a relationship at the time with someone who I'd been on and off with for about 3 years. And that person also broke up with me at the peak of my illness and at probably the darkest time of my being sick, because I was just so engulfed in my being sick. And this person that I had leaned on so much and was like my best friend also broke up with me and left me during that time. So I knew that the universe was trying to tell me something. And although it was crazy, it was dark, it was awful, I knew that this was my opportunity to make some very serious changes in my life. And that's exactly what I did. And the first step that I used with the law of attraction to heal myself was the acceptance that no matter what these doctors told me and these nurses told me, I was not going to believe that. These were doctors and nurses who didn't even know me, and they actually were having the power to keep telling me that I was sick, not even knowing what was wrong with me, and I was actually believing them. And so to me, the first step of my manifestation and my law of attraction journey was to no longer accept what other people were saying and to create my own will to be better. So that was my step one, was no longer accepting what doctors and nurses were saying about my illness, and that I was going to create my own will. It didn't matter what they said. So that was my step one to my journey. Then my step two was to start living in gratitude. I literally was deathly sick, you guys. I had crazy heart symptoms. I was wearing a heart monitor for 2 months. I had dizzy spells. I couldn't even stand up. There were points where I couldn't even get up because when I would stand up, my heart rate would elevate to, I don't know, sometimes like 200. It was really crazy. I actually was diagnosed finally in June, and I was diagnosed with dysautonomia and a form of it in which was called POTS. So I would get rapid heart rate, dizzy spells, I would faint sometimes, really intense. But my part two to my actual manifestation of healing myself and using the law of attraction was to start living in gratitude. And when I say living in gratitude, I mean I would wake up every single day, you guys, and I would just thank the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. This channel is not going to be about that. It's going to be about whatever you call him. I call it universe, I call it God. But I would just get up every day and just be so thankful to be alive. And I was living in this gratitude, and I would thank the universe for being healthy and for being well. I was already thanking in advance for what I wanted and what I so desired, which was to be well. So my step two was to live in gratitude and live in appreciation. And that's exactly what I did. That was my second part to my journey of healing myself with manifestation and law of attraction. Then my step three was to actually start using visualization. So imagination is key, you guys. You have to use your imagination when you want to do really anything. But imagination is key in the sense that when you can imagine things and visualize them and feel them, they become so much more real. And I was actually using visualization every single day. I would do it in the morning as I was waking up, and I would visualize myself exercising again, playing with my daughter, standing up, dancing, being with my friends and my family. I literally would visualize to the maximum. I was using every sense in my body, visualizing actually being better. And there were points during my visualization that I could feel myself actually like elevating as if I were better already. So that was my step three, was visualization and using my imagination and actually picturing myself being better, being well, and no longer being sick. And my very last step, you guys, which was a little bit difficult because I had to rewire a lot of my habits. I had to create new subconscious habits. And for a lot of people, they don't understand the subconscious mind, which is fine because we can always do a video on that. But the subconscious mind is the actual root of, I would say, 90% of our behavior. And I had developed these crazy subconscious behaviors because I was sick and I had picked up these habits, and I started to repetitively believe that I was sick because the doctor said I was. So my step four was just the rewiring of new habits. And when I say new habits, you guys, I mean I had a schedule. I would get up early in the morning, sometimes 5:30, sometimes 6 a.m. I would meditate. I would eat a very healthy, balanced breakfast. I would start working out. I would take long walks with my daughter and our little dog. We have a Frenchie named Jet. We would take him for walks. I would have me and my daughter sit outside and get sunlight so we were, taking in all that vitamin D. I completely changed my diet, which was a little difficult because I had been vegan for 2 years and I thought that was good enough. And in reality, it really wasn't good enough. I needed to really change up my routine. So my subconscious could actually pick up these good habits and these beautiful things that were gonna make me well and make me feel better than I did before. So when it came down to it, these were the 4 things that I felt helped me. If you're sick, this is a disclaimer. You should always go to the doctors. You should always get an opinion. You should always let your physician let you know. But I also believe that there is a flip side to the medical field, and there's a flip side to medicine. And I believe that is spirituality, and I believe that the mind is very powerful, and it can do anything, and it can do amazing things if you have the willpower and you have the belief that you can do it. So of course, you guys, I love all of you. I want you guys to go to the doctors if something is wrong, and of course, find out what is wrong with you, because I would hate for you to walk around and not know what's wrong with you. But I also believe that along with your physician, you can practice these beautiful things to have a naturopathic and holistic way of healing yourself, and to, of course, take care of your well-being. I'm not sure what the reasoning was why I got sick. The doctors never really figured out why. But I can tell you this right now. Your well-being is so important. My well-being, my mental health, my emotional health, my spiritual health are very important. And sometimes your body will turn on you and it will do crazy things to kind of get your attention and say, hey, pay attention to us. We need sunlight, we need love, we need attention. And regardless of whatever the reasoning was for my illness and that journey, I took it as an opportunity to better myself. And the law of attraction is such a beautiful mechanism that we all are capable of doing. It's been around for thousands of years. And I felt like this story was just something I wanted to share with everybody, because I am now a person who can say that I cured and healed myself of an illness using manifestation techniques, the law of attraction, and just the willpower to be better. I have not had a single symptom since August of 2020, and I am so grateful, you guys. I am not the same person I was a year ago. I dealt with illness, I dealt with heartbreak all at the same time, I dealt with loneliness. I just felt at such a dark place, and now I feel super grateful, and I just wanted to share that story with you guys. And I would love to hear in the comments if any of you guys have been through the same thing and have used law of attraction, manifestation, or anything, any other technique to get rid of something that was just hindering you. I'm super excited to have you guys here on my channel. Make sure to like and subscribe. I love you all.